Hello everyone. I have been off of YouTube for a while now, but I happened to notice some subscribers and commenters of supportive listeners, so I decided that I ought to continue doing these. So today, I would like to get back into the Tao Explained videos and pick up where we left off and talk about Chapter 8. As usual, I'm going to read 3 different translations and then talk a little bit about the message that I see inside. So the first translation goes like this. The highest excellence is like that of water. The excellence of water appears in its benefiting all things, and in its occupying, without striving, to the contrary, the low place which all men dislike. Hence its way is near to that of the Tao. The excellence of a residence is in the suitability of the place, that of the mind is in abysmal stillness, that of associations is in their being with the virtuous, that of government is in its securing good order, that of the conduct of affairs is in its ability, and that of the initiation of any movement is in its timeliness. And when one with the highest excellence does not wrangle about his low position, no one finds fault with him. The second translation goes, Superior goodness resembleth water. The water's goodness benefiteth the 10,000 things, yet it quarrelleth not. Water dwelleth in the places which the multitudes of men shun, therefore it is near unto the eternal reason. The dwelling of goodness is in lowliness. The heart of goodness is in commotion. When giving, goodness showeth benevolence. In words, goodness keepeth faith. In government, goodness standeth for order. In business, goodness exhibiteth ability. The movements of goodness keep time. It quarrelleth not, therefore it is not rebuked. And the third translation. True goodness is like water, in that it benefits everything and harms nothing. Like water, it ever seeks the lowest place, the place that all others avoid. It is closely kin to the Tao. For a dwelling it chooses the quiet meadow, for a heart the circling eddy. In generosity it is kind, in speech it is sincere, in authority it is order, in affairs it is ability, in movement it is rhythm. Inasmuch as it is always peaceable, it is never rebuked. Well, first things first, this chapter reminds me of when Bruce Lee famously said this quote, "Be like water making its way through cracks. Do not be assertive, but adjust to the object, and you shall find a way around or through it. If nothing within you stays rigid, outward things will disclose themselves. Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless like water. If you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, and it becomes the bottle. You put it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be like water, my friend." So what are some examples of the properties of water? Well, water is one of the basic elements that constitutes nature. It exists in many different forms all around the world. It does what is natural, always falling and flowing, always moving and doing no wrong, never holding any judgment. And we as humans are made of water. We drink water and we produce water back into the world from a microcosmic point of view. It comes from the macrocosm in the form of rain, snow, sleet, and hail. As above, so below. Water replenishes itself and nourishes life as it always has. It can be thought of as a feedback loop in the technological sense. In the developed world, we certainly seem to take our always accessible clean water for granted. Perhaps it would be best for us to mindfully use and appreciate water as one of the foundations of our very existence, to remember that it largely constitutes our physical bodies, and to allow it to become part of us. Have you ever noticed that your life situation tends to move in a flowing pattern when you aren't paying much attention to it? Now, have you noticed that this flowing seems to get dammed up when you fight against your circumstances? When we become so emotionally involved in situations, we fail to notice that we're standing in our own way. We're told to face reality and to feel that we must cope with or take on our lives and the world we live in. And this is all nested inside something much larger, something that we dare not talk about, because it makes us feel small, powerless, scared to death, or even unreal. What I'm talking about here is the human ego, the concept of self that we carry through life. We think and we feel that things in the outside world happen to us as people, and that the world is really just a harsh place that you must defend yourself from while you struggle to the end. While it would be foolish to claim that the world of nature and of society is not harsh, it can at least be said that it only seems harsh from a human point of view. To all other life forms, this is the way it has always been, well, minus all of the concrete buildings and cars that we have littered all over the planet. Birds and bees never had any houses with air conditioning and central air. They've always been homeless. And now we have all of the generations that came before us to thank for the infrastructure we currently inhabit, which includes utilities, plumbing, clean water, housing, careers, media to consume, and everything else that we see before us. And getting back on track, the emotional attachment to our very own egos is what I was trying to get at. This sensation is the opposite of water. It's more like a fire that constantly burns and turns this entire experience into a story about me. Me. It's always about me. Did our ancestors feel the same way when they selflessly laid out the means for us to have a present in such comfort? Is the most important thing in our human existence always going to revolve around comfort and hedonism? Is the meaning of life really that simple? To gain as much pleasure from the world around you in every moment at the expense of everything else? Or does water have some ancient teaching for us to uncover? Doing good deeds naturally and for the sake of doing them. Not seeking praise for deeds or for gifts. Finding the middle ground in conflicts that not only makes you gain personally, but is equally beneficial for all others involved. To not purposely sabotage others' intentions or to look to conquer other people. To think of yourself as a feather being blown by the wind, sometimes gently and gracefully, sometimes in a dark storm. To get out of your own way, and to not only think of your story as your own, but as one shared with everyone from the beginning to the end. Another expression of humanity loving, creating, making decisions, being terrified, being hurt, and eventually ceasing to exist as an individual. Water, as it is seen in this light, is the original good. All is born from the womb of the universe, and life on earth was born from the depths of the primordial ocean, on earth as it is in heaven.